Hey guys, Jacob Wheeler here, trying to figure out whether to throw a frog or punch. That's something that's always, you see the conditions like this, and you see all this grass, and it's something that it's very difficult to figure out, okay, what do you want to do, or what are you looking for when you're punching, and what are you looking for when you're frogging? And it really just depends on what type of grass you're fishing. Right now, there's a lot of duckweed, there's a lot of coontail that's matted up. We're up north, and on places like for me, these places are a little bit more sparse. Those are the areas that I'm gonna throw this frog. Places I can cast up underneath. Cast up underneath shallow water, 1 foot, 2 foot, 3 foot of water is what I'm gonna really target those mats. If I get into those mats that are 5, 6, 7 foot deep, it's hard to sometimes get those fish that want to come up and eat a frog. And the other thing is, when I'm throwing a frog on a mat, to know whether it's too thick of a mat to fish with a frog or too thin, or well, it's never too thin for the most part, is I'm always looking at the lines of my frog. So like, if you see that line in your frog, or you cast up there and you don't even see your frog making a line through the hydrilla mat, then you have a problem. You probably don't want to flip that, or to throw that frog on that mat. They're just not going to catch those fish. They're just not, they can't get through it. They don't feel it, they don't see it. It's not a good deal. But when I see a defined edge and I start to see little thicker parts, punching is more of a, for me, it's more of a precise technique. It's more either defined edges on the grass lines or isolated thick parts or thick places in the mat. That's what I always look for. If you find a mat that's too thick for a frog, sometimes you want to punch it, but normally you want a defined edge. A defined edge, very similar to what we have right here, is a great place to punch, especially if there's a lot of depth there. So I'll grab this little crawl out right here, this little punch out crawl, and start flipping on these outer edges. I'm sitting in 5 foot of water, flipping these little outer edges where these fish are going to set up. And a lot of times I'm only going to go 1 foot to 2 or 3 feet inside of the mat. A lot of your fish are going to set up on that outside edge where they can ambush, and that's really, ooh, there was one right there. I felt something little grabbed it. They can ambush, and you can go down through these areas and find these fish, and you're looking for groups of fish. A lot of times in these big grass mats, you'll find an area that has one little edge that has quite a few fish around that area.